This video is going to be pretty different from what I normally talk about. I am occasionally asked how I got into this hobby and why is it that I do what I do. And my default answer has always been, I love audio, right? Like I grew up listening to music as a kid. It's always been a very important part of my life. And then when I got a little bit older, I got into engineering, and that tech analysis side of me wanted to dive into understanding speakers and understand how we hear things the way that we hear. But in the last couple of years, through a lot of self-work, inner work, I've learned a lot about myself. It's not just about audio and understanding audio. It's also about uncertainty and how my brain handles uncertainty. So let me give you an example here. If you read or watch most subjective oriented reviews, you're going to come away with all sorts of buzzwords, and you really may not know exactly what that means to that reviewer. If I use a buzzword, you probably don't know exactly what that means unless I define it by some frequency band. That ambiguity for me has always been a challenge. And it may not be for you. Listen, I'm not the most creative person, but not knowing what someone means specifically when they give me a subjective term, that doesn't help me understand what it is that they're hearing. And so with audio and with the way that my brain really wants to process things, it helps me to have clearly defined labels. So for example, if I say bright, usually I'm going to tell you that I'm talking about like 5 kilohertz and up, or I may use the term bright to describe maybe like the 2 kilohertz area, so the upper mid range. I personally will use subjective terms for different explanations, but that's why I try to give you an example of this is the region that I'm talking about. So measurements for me aren't really the answer, right? They just stabilize my brain and make it easier for my brain to quantify and to understand. Now, those creative types out there who watch this video, Lord bless you, because I wish that I had the ability to think more creatively. My brain does not want to function in that same way. So having some sort of set metrics helps me say, I know what this person is talking about when they say this. And interestingly enough, I learned about that aspect through a recent relationship where just something kind of hit me out of nowhere, and I really didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to do about it, and I ruminated over it for like a solid week. And then I got into the evolutionary side of things. Like, why is my brain not just accepting this thing and not just being like, okay, well, that's that, right? And it turns out that our brains are wired for safety. And you all probably know this already, but from the perspective of if you don't have an answer, that could, at one point in time, have meant literal life or death. And so that aspect of my brain, the hyper analytical aspect of my brain, even though audio is not life or death, still, some people treat it like it is, my brain still wants to function and find answers to things. And that's why I lean heavily on objective data. What I personally don't like is misunderstandings. And as a person, I've grown a lot in the last 3 years to where I accept that misunderstandings are bound to happen. So in the past, and if you go back and watch my older videos, and if you read some of my comments, I come off as very defensive in those comments. And the reason isn't that I'm being defensive or proud of myself for thinking something or anything negative. It's really because I'm trying to avoid miscommunication and misunderstanding. So I typically will try to jump out in front of it. And that's another thing that the data allows me to do is with the data, I can say, boom, treble is hot, plus 3 decibels over the mid-range. All right, cool, done. There's nothing to argue about. Now, do you mind that? That's a separate subject. But objectively speaking, per the measurements, yes, the treble is 3 decibels louder than the mid-range. And you'll even notice this trend sometimes in my current videos in the manner where my videos might run kind of long. And you may say, hey, it looks like Erin edited something out there. Well, I can almost guarantee you that whatever it was that I edited out was me over explaining something. So I've got this whole series of videos talking about understanding the measurements. And the notion behind that series of videos was to keep me from having to explain things over and over. Now, with some videos and some reviews, it's necessary to explain something because maybe it's a complex topic, or maybe it's something that I haven't really discussed before, or maybe it's something that's very unique to a particular speaker design, or maybe it's just something that I feel like could use some further clarification or explanation. Most of the time, though, it's me talking about something, trying to fill in the gaps for newcomers. And the problem with that is that, yeah, the videos tend to run really long. And then I am super conscious of myself as I'm saying something to stay ahead of any further misunderstanding or miscommunication. So if I'm talking about, let's say I'm talking about acoustics in the room, and I'm talking about first reflection points like I did in a previous video, it's very easy for me to start going into the minutia of things. It's very hard for me to not stay top level because there's a lot of details in this stuff. And so me getting out in front of these questions or comments or concerns tend to make these videos run long, but they also tend to come across as me being very defensive. And this is the personal aspect of this video. When I get into what I've learned is that it's not being defensive. It's me really just trying to make sure that whatever it is that's out there is well understood and that I'm covering all my bases, because through past relationships, and certainly the internet has made this worse, people like to nitpick at little things. And you could say 100 things that are objectively correct, and you could say one thing that maybe is only 50% correct, and it's because you didn't dive into the ultimate layer of that, and that one thing gets picked on. And realistically, that doesn't happen a lot. And more realistically, like, I shouldn't care, but my brain does because I really want that understanding. And that's where the neurodivergency stuff comes into play, right? And I'm not a psychologist. I'm not your therapist. I'm not telling you you're probably this thing or that thing, right? I think everybody wants to belong to something, but when you've lived with something like this long enough, I'm 43 now. There's so many things in my life that I can look back on and think, oh, I get it now. And I'm like, Jesus, I am 43 and I'm just now getting that. What the heck is wrong with me? What have I been doing? Right? So that's also the other personal aspect of this. And even though I do lean on objective measures, there is 100% room for preference and subjective interpretation about what you're hearing. And this is something that I try to mention in most of my reviews, and I've been more cognizant of doing it lately. Well, let's say that if we look at boosted treble versus just a smooth, flat, on-axis anechoic, not room measurement, but just like flat anechoic mid-range. So you got nice mid-range and you got boosted treble. Or for you, if you're watching this back, it may be nice mid-range, boosted treble from low frequency to high frequency, right? And you, one day, maybe, oh man, that thing is super bright. That speaker's super bright. But the next day you might listen to it and you might say, yeah, that mid-range is really low. And you're kind of saying the same thing, but you're not. But objectively, both of those are perfectly acceptable answers. And when I try to over-explain, what I tend to do is, number one, people snooze, there's out. Number two, they feel overwhelmed. Number three, they might feel like I'm being defensive. And I find that that's a real problem for me in my own brain. And what I personally have really been trying to work on is to just not over-explain. Just say something that I know is correct. Objectively speaking, this treble is higher than this mid-range. There's nothing to argue about. And just leave it like that. And that's been hard for me to do because, again, I really want to feel like I've done my job explaining this thing so I can prevent future conflict later. That's just not something that you can do, because then you're trying to, I hate to say it, but it's kind of like you're trying to manipulate the person that you're talking to, or I'm trying to manipulate my audience, or somebody who is going to just run amok in the comment section saying, well, you didn't cover this or that. And I'm telling you guys, that stuff drives me insane, but it's something also that I've worked really hard on within myself to try to ground and try to not let it bother me. and then I can come in and I can do my reviews. And you'll notice that the past 3 or 4 reviews have gotten, I think they've got more streamlined. I think I'm doing a better job of just presenting what I want to present and not worrying about all the other little intricacies that someone might nitpick. But even still, that's why audio is so ingrained in what I do. It's not who I am, for sure. Like, I'm a lot more than this YouTube channel. And I think those of you who actually know me, hopefully you would agree. But it really is just the melding of my love for music, going back to when I was a little kid, combined with the technical aspect and just like curiosity. But now I understand that there's a third level to it, and that's my brain trying to solve problems and not really being comfortable with ambiguity and trying to have a better understanding of something. Sometimes maybe just for the sake of having an understanding of it. So when I look at data, it may be because I'm looking for something specific. I do a lot of consulting work these days, and I will have people say, hey, I've ordered these speakers and they sound bright to me in my room. And I may say, okay, well, let me check out the speakers. I go and look at my data and I say, well, maybe in this area that kind of makes sense. But first of all, let me ask you, how do you define bright? And they'll give me an answer. Hey, it's upper treble, or upper mid range, or lower treble, or something like that. And then I say, well, can you give me the dimensions of your room? Can you tell me how they're laid out? And then I can go and look at data, and I can come up with a pretty good idea of why they're hearing things the way that they hear. And then I can make suggestions for equalization, or I can make suggestions for, really the speaker is not ideal for you, what you're looking for, and what your listening room is like. So you either need to do these kind of room treatments, you need to do aiming positions of these speakers, change things up a little bit, or you just need to go get completely different speakers. That's where the data for me is very helpful as a reviewer. Now, on a personal level, the data for me is helpful because it kind of helps close that loop. If I'm looking at a speaker and I'm mentally comparing it to something, because comparison is just innate. It's something we always do, even if we intentionally try not to do. I am thinking, okay, I'm seeing this, I heard this, how do those match up? But also, I'm seeing this, I heard this, how does that compare to this other speaker? And the more I do that, the closer I get to something that feels comfortable for me as far as an answer. Now, I got to be careful when I say comfortable, because then you start getting to the point where you consider yourself an expert. There's few things in life that I think people are truly experts at. Again, 43 years old, still don't even know myself. If I'm not an expert myself, I'm probably not going to be an expert in audio, but I'm trying to make my best progress that I can here, with the goal to provide you all with as much information as I possibly can to make you armed as a better consumer. Ultimately, that kind of explains what this is all about for me, my journey, where I hope to go, which is to keep improving myself, keep improving my understanding, but also accepting that you don't always know the answers. Sometimes when somebody blindsides you with something and you don't see it coming from a mile away, you have to accept that that's exactly how it is. There's nothing you can do about it. You have to keep going. Data gives me that somewhat of a comfort level with the audio, but at the same time, I don't think that I know everything about it. And at the end of the day, it really is up to you, what you enjoy, and you've got to look at it. That's a big thing too. You've got to look at it. So if you don't like what you see and you don't like what you hear, who cares what I or any other reviewer has to say about that thing? So yeah, I normally don't get super personal, but every once in a while, I think it's important to add some personality to this channel and to add some personality to the community, right? Because we're all part of this same audio hobby together, whether or not we agree with each other, even half the time. I still think as humans, we deserve respect. And my hope is that maybe something I've said in here has offered you some insight into yourself. And if not, hey, at least you can just point at me and say, that guy's crazy. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Take care.